Welcome to another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Today we set sail into the vast and mesmerizing musical ocean as we explore the captivating waves of Oceans Where Feet May Fail. This powerful composition, originally by Hillsong United, transcends genres, inviting us on a spiritual and emotional journey. Join me as we navigate through the deep waters of this song, unraveling its lyrical depths and exploring the soul-stirring melodies that have resonated with listeners worldwide. Oceans is more than a song. It's an experience that delves into themes of faith, surrender, and the unknown. So whether you're a longtime fan or discovering this musical voyage for the first time, fasten your seatbelts and let the currents of Oceans carry you into a realm of contemplation and inspiration. Stay tuned for an episode that promises to be as expansive and profound as the boundless sea itself. I've chosen to embark on an experimental journey, expanding beyond audio-only content to incorporate visuals to elevate the overall experience. I hope you find it enjoyable. The essence of this song unfolds as a beacon of hope and unwavering faith in the face of life's tempests. It serves as a musical lifeboat for those navigating the tumultuous seas of hardship. In this episode, we'll dissect the lyrics that resonate as a profound encouragement during challenging times, offering solace and a reminder to trust in a higher power. The chorus becomes a mantra, urging us to surrender our worries to the divine, while the bridge reinforces the importance of continual reliance on faith. Join me in this exploration of a song that stands as a testament to confidence, hope, and unshakable trust in the Almighty, promising that no matter how deep the waters, divine grace remains an anchor. In the opening lines, Tyre is beckoned to venture onto the waters, representing the great unknown where challenges and uncertainties abound. This poignant call mirrors the biblical account of Peter walking on water with Jesus, a moment steeped in faith and trust. The reference to Peter's experience on the water aligns with the Gospel of Matthew, where Jesus calls Peter to come and, for a moment, Peter walks on the water before doubt sets in. This biblical event becomes a metaphor for the times when God calls us to step into the unknown, requiring unwavering faith. Continuing with the imagery of oceans deep, the lyrics express a profound truth found in Ephesians 1 verse 9, emphasizing the mystery of God's will. The act of seeking God leads to a revelation of His purpose for our lives. The reference to oceans deep symbolizes the vast and profound nature of God's mysteries, indicating that even in the depths of challenges, His presence can be found. The declaration, "My faith will stand," signifies a personal commitment to stand firm in faith amid life's uncertainties. This echoes the sentiment in Matthew 14 verses 30 to 31, where Peter, despite faltering, is rescued by Jesus because of his initial faith. Tyre, by proclaiming "My faith will stand," expresses confidence that, like Peter, her faith will provide stability amid life's unpredictable waters. In essence, the verse intertwines personal experience with biblical narratives, creating a tapestry that encourages listeners to trust and stand firm in their faith, even in the face of the unknown. The chorus resounds with a deep sense of faith and trust in the divine. The opening line, "And I will call upon your name," reflects a commitment to turn to Jesus Christ in times of need. This mirrors the biblical promise in Romans 10 verse 13, assuring that everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. The subsequent imagery, "and keep my eyes above the waves," paints a vivid picture of maintaining focus on Christ amidst life's tumultuous circumstances. This visual metaphor encapsulates the biblical truth that fixing our gaze on Jesus can bring stability, even when faced with rising challenges. It aligns with the notion of Peter walking on water, where he remains above the waves as long as his eyes are fixed on Jesus. The assurance that, "When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace," conveys a profound sense of peace and security in God's love. This echoes the theme of finding refuge in God's embrace, a sentiment that resonates with various biblical passages, highlighting God's comforting and protective nature. The concluding declaration, "For I am yours and you are mine," establishes a personal and intimate connection with God. It echoes the biblical concept of being created by God for a relationship with Him. The reference to Reverend Jonathan Edwards' themes, particularly "Sinners in the Hands of a Fearful God," adds a layer of depth, emphasizing the profound bond between the believer and the Creator. In essence, the chorus encapsulates a journey of faith, trust, and surrender, drawing on biblical promises and theological reflections to convey a message of assurance and divine connection. In the second verse, the lyrics delve into the depth of God's grace, particularly in challenging and uncharted waters. The affirmation, "Your grace abounds in deepest waters," expresses the boundless nature of God's grace, which is not confined by the depths of life's difficulties. This resonates with the biblical understanding that God's grace is more than sufficient in times of trial. The declaration, "Your sovereign hand will be my guide," reflects a profound trust in God's sovereignty. The use of the term sovereign hand emphasizes the divine guidance and leadership that Taya acknowledges in her journey of faith. This line aligns with the biblical concept of God as a guiding force in the lives of believers. The acknowledgement of challenging moments, where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, highlights the human experience of vulnerability and fear. The imagery of feet failing can be interpreted as a reference to the limitations and weaknesses of human nature, particularly in the face of adversity. The powerful assurance, "You've never failed, and you won't start now," draws from the biblical conviction that God is faithful and unchanging. The reference to Psalm 136 verse 1 reinforces the enduring nature of God's love and faithfulness. This verse becomes a poignant reminder that, despite the uncertainties of life, the unwavering character of God remains a constant source of strength and security. The bridge stands as an emotional crescendo within the song, marked by a gradual build-up in intensity that resonates with listeners on a deeply personal level. This section unfolds as a heartfelt prayer, expressing a profound desire for spiritual depth and an unwavering trust in God. The emotional resonance of the lyrics, coupled with the musical arrangement, creates a powerful and moving experience. The emotional build-up is a key element that contributes to its impact. Musically, it often features a gradual intensification in both instrumentation and vocal delivery. This deliberate progression builds a sense of anticipation and emotional release, amplifying the sincerity of the lyrical plea. The gradual rise in intensity mirrors the emotional journey of the singer, echoing the challenges and triumphs of a faith-tested life. The lyrical imagery is particularly striking, drawing from the biblical narrative in Matthew 14 verses 22 to 33, where Peter is called by Jesus. The metaphor of walking on water becomes a powerful symbol of stepping into the unknown with complete faith, trusting that God will lead and sustain. This imagery is relatable and resonant, vividly capturing the essence of surrender and trust in the face of life's uncertainties. One notable aspect of the bridge is its expression of surrender and trust, especially encapsulated in the lines, "Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders, and let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me." These words echo the principle of yielding one's will to God and following His divine guidance, even when the path seems uncertain. It reflects a willingness to embrace the unknown, guided by an unwavering faith in God's plan. The subsequent lines, "Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior," further contribute to the emotional depth of the bridge. This echoes the sentiment found in James 1 verses 2 to 4, urging believers to view trials as opportunities for growth and a deepening of faith. The metaphor of being taken deeper than one's feet could wander emphasizes the transformative nature of hardships, ultimately leading to a strengthened faith in the presence of Jesus. As the bridge reaches its pinnacle, the repetition of the exclamatory phrase, "Yeah, I don't do justice to it, unfortunately, haha," adds an extra layer of emotional intensity, underscoring the earnestness of the prayer. The final declaration, "Oh Jesus, you're my God," serves as a powerful reaffirmation of devotion and a recognition of Jesus as the central figure in the singer's faith journey. It encapsulates the essence of the bridge, a heartfelt plea for spiritual growth, a deepening trust in God, and an acknowledgement of Jesus as the ultimate source of strength and guidance. In the broader context of the song, the bridge serves as a climactic moment, following a period of reflection and building toward a powerful declaration of faith. This dynamic structure enhances the emotional impact of the bridge, making it a memorable and transformative part of Oceans. Now, this episode has inspired me to do something different. I'd like to tell a story that I came up with as I was writing this episode. It is something that I hope will add significance to the song's message. Do note that it is fictional, and I hope you'll stay with me. It is a poignant narrative that unfolds in the humble village of Elmsworth, where a man named Mike, an ordinary villager with dreams as vast as the open sky, found himself entangled in the intricate tapestry of life. In the heart of Elmsworth, where the whispers of the wind carried the dreams of its inhabitants, Mike's tale began. A man of simple pleasures, he toiled under the sun, cultivating the fertile soil that cradled the dreams of generations. But as fate would have it, a storm brewed on the horizon, a tempest that would challenge the very core of his existence. One fateful day, the clouds gathered above Elmsworth, pregnant with rain and laden with the weight of unforeseen trials. As the heavens wept, tragedy struck his world. The crops that once stood tall, symbols of hope and sustenance, were mercilessly laid low by a torrent of relentless rain. The village, once vibrant with life, now echoed with the haunting cries of a community grappling with loss. In the aftermath of this natural calamity, Mike found himself at a crossroads, standing amidst the ruins of his aspirations. The fields that once held the promise of abundance now mirrored the desolation within his heart. The dreams he nurtured were, quite literally, washed away by the unrelenting forces of nature. In the wake of the devastating storm, Elmsworth became a landscape of sorrow. The once thriving village was now a tableau of destruction, and Mike, once a pillar of resilience, found himself engulfed in the darkest depths of despair. As he surveyed the ruins of his hard work, the weight of his shattered dreams pressed upon him like a heavy yoke. Days turned into long, weary nights, and Elmsworth, now draped in a melancholic shroud, struggled to rise from the aftermath of the calamity. The communal spirit that had bound the villagers together seemed fragile, like fragile threads hanging by a thread. Mike, too, was entangled in the threads of grief and loss, questioning the fairness of a fate that had snatched away everything he held dear. In the depths of his despair, a bitter resentment began to fester within Mike's heart. He couldn't comprehend why a higher power, whom he had faithfully trusted, would unleash such devastation upon him and his fellow villagers. The verdant fields that were once a testament to his dedication were now a graveyard of broken stems and shattered hopes. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the ravaged landscape, Mike stood alone in the remnants of his once thriving farm. His hands, calloused from years of labor, now hung limp by his sides. The scent of damp earth and decay lingered in the air, a stark contrast to the fragrant promise of harvest that once filled his nostrils. In the quiet of that moment, with the world seemingly oblivious to his pain, Mike, for the first time, uttered words that he had never thought he would speak. His voice, choked with bitterness, rose against the silence as he questioned the divine force that had, in his eyes, betrayed the very essence of justice. He railed against the heavens, shaking his fists at a God he could no longer fathom. "Why?" he cried out, the anguish in his voice echoing through the desolation. "Why did you bring this upon us? What have we done to deserve such heartache and ruin?" In that despondent outcry, Mike reached the nadir of his emotional turmoil. The bitterness that had taken root within him threatened to consume any remnants of faith or hope. The villagers, grappling with their own losses, observed his anguish from a distance, their hearts heavy with empathy, but unsure of how to mend the fractures that now ran through their once tight-knit community. It was in this moment of profound darkness that Mike's story hung in delicate balance, teetering on the precipice of despair. Little did he know that the turning point in his tale awaited, a glimmer of light that would pierce through the storm clouds, heralding a transformation that would redefine the meaning of resilience and faith in the face of adversity. Now, Mike, having lost all hope, decided to leave his village in hopes of finding something that would restore his happiness. With the little that remained in his possession, he embarked on a journey boarding a weathered boat that would soon become both his vessel of escape and an unwitting conduit for his destiny. The boat, creaking under the weight of despair and the burden of shattered dreams, sailed into the open seas. Mike, a lone figure against the vast expanse of water, sought solace in the rhythmic rocking of the boat and the endless horizon that seemed to stretch into eternity. Little did he know that the sea, much like life itself, held unpredictable storms and unforeseen challenges. As the boat sailed further from the ruins of Elmsworth, a new chapter of adversity unfolded. Unbeknownst to Mike, he shared his vessel with treacherous companions, individuals whose hearts were as dark as the storm clouds that had once wreaked havoc on his village. These fellow travelers, driven by greed and malice, saw in Mike an opportunity for personal gain. In the secrecy of the night, far from the watchful eyes of any benevolent force, they betrayed him. Mike, who had already been robbed of his dreams, now faced the cruel theft of his remaining possessions. With callous hearts, they cast him into the unforgiving depths of the ocean. A final act of cruelty that mirrored the betrayal he felt from the heavens. Adrift in the expansive open ocean, he found himself alone aboard the small wooden boat they had abandoned with him. Surrounded by the inky blackness of the water below and the star-studded canvas above, Mike's cries of despair were swallowed by the endless expanse. The salt water, now both his ally and adversary, seemed to reflect the tears of a broken man abandoned by both nature and fellow beings. In the throes of his isolation, Mike's anger at the divine persisted. The bitterness that had taken root in Elmsworth now surged within him like a tempest, finding a new battleground in the watery abyss. Each wave that crashed against him echoed the tumult within his soul, and every gust of wind seemed to carry the weight of his grievances. In the depth of his despair, Mike, now adrift in the vastness of the open sea, could no longer contain the storm of emotions raging within him. In a bitter soliloquy to the heavens, he cursed a god he believed had forsaken him. His words, laced with anger and sorrow, were carried away by the wind, dissipating into the expanse of the ocean. The once faithful farmer had become a lone soul, wrestling with the cosmic forces that seemed indifferent to his suffering. As if responding to the turmoil in Mike's heart, the atmosphere itself underwent a transformation. The calm sea turned tumultuous, and the heavens, once silent witnesses, erupted into a symphony of thunder and lightning. Mike, already battered by the tempest of life, now faced the fury of a storm that mirrored the turmoil in his soul. In the heart of the maelstrom, with waves towering like vengeful titans, Mike clung desperately to the remnants of his battered boat. It was then that he discovered a cruel irony. The thieves who had robbed him had callously left behind a single weathered lifeboat, seemingly inconsequential in its simplicity. In his darkest hour, this forsaken vessel became Mike's only lifeline, a fragile link between survival and the abyss. The storm, relentless in its wrath, lashed against Mike's feeble craft. Rain fell in sheets, and each lightning strike seemed to mock the fragility of his existence. In the chaos, with the taste of salt on his lips and the sting of betrayal still fresh, Mike battled not only the elements, but also the shadows of despair that threatened to engulf him. As the tempest reached its zenith, exhaustion overcame Mike, and the thin line between consciousness and oblivion blurred. The last thing he remembered was the deafening roar of thunder and the feeling of being tossed like a discarded plaything by the raging sea. In that moment, as the storm's fury reached its climax, Mike felt his strength wane. The relentless assault of wind and water seemed determined to claim him, and the world around him blurred into a chaotic symphony of darkness and tumult. Exhaustion, both physical and emotional, overcame him like an unwelcome tide. It was as if the very essence of his being was being tossed alongside the fragments of his shattered boat. Then, in the shroud of impending unconsciousness, Mike surrendered to the inevitability of his fate. The cacophony of the storm became a distant echo, and he let go, embracing the cold embrace of the abyss. He was gone. But wait. In a surreal twist of fate, Mike's eyes fluttered open to a reality he could scarcely comprehend. He found himself sprawled on the sun-kissed shores of an island, surrounded by the gentle lull of waves and the rustle of palm leaves. The storm that had threatened to be his requiem had, against all odds, become the vessel that delivered him to this unexpected sanctuary. As Mike gathered his senses, a poignant question echoed in the recesses of his mind. Why, in that desperate moment of surrender, did death elude him? Why, amid the tempest's roar, did he find himself washed ashore instead of being swallowed by the abyss? In the solitude of the island, surrounded by the vast expanse of the sea and the canopy of unfamiliar foliage, Mike grappled with these questions. The bitterness that once fueled his curses now morphed into a silent inquiry, an interrogation of the divine order he had dared to challenge. "Why didn't you just take me away?" he murmured to the heavens, as if expecting an answer from the azure expanse above. The island, though serene, held no immediate reply. It was as if nature itself awaited Mike's introspection, leaving him to reconcile with the enigma of his inexplicable survival. In the ensuing days on this solitary haven, as Mike navigated the intricacies of survival, The island became both a physical and metaphysical space for introspection. The palms whispered secrets carried by the wind, and the rhythmic dance of the waves seemed to invite him into a dialogue with forces beyond his comprehension. As he confronted the echoes of despair and questioned the providence that spared him, the island became a crucible for transformation. An arena where the tempest-tossed soul of Mike would confront not only the external elements, but the internal tempest that raged within. Undeterred by the challenges of island life, Mike spent the next week scavenging for materials that could potentially serve as his ticket off the island. He explored the dense foliage, fished in the crystal-clear waters, and sought any sign of passing ships on the horizon. Each day was a relentless pursuit of escape, fueled by a determination to leave the island's enigmatic shores behind. However, as the sun dipped below the horizon, and the island was cloaked in the hushed whispers of night, Mike found himself haunted by a recurring dream. In the realm of slumber, he stood before a mesmerizing waterfall, a cascade of silver threads that seemed to connect the heavens to the earth. Amid the gentle roar of the falling water, he saw a figure, a silhouette that seemed achingly familiar. It was his mother. In the dream, she extended her hand toward him from behind the curtain of water, her eyes a reflection of both love and longing. The message was clear, yet enigmatic, beckoning him to reach out, to pierce the veil of the waterfall and discover what lay beyond. The dream held a surreal quality, as if the boundary between the tangible and the ethereal was blurred. Night after night, this vision visited Mike in the realm of dreams. Yet, in the waking world, he grappled with its interpretation. Was it a figment of a weary mind, or did it carry a message from realms beyond his understanding? The mystery of the dream lingered like an unanswered question, an unresolved chord in the symphony of his island existence. Unable to decipher its meaning, Mike hesitated to heed the call of the dream. The waterfall, though alluring, became an impenetrable barrier, an enigma that both fascinated and daunted him. The island, with its dreams and whispers, held Mike in a delicate balance between the pursuit of escape and the allure of the unknown, between the tangible and the mystical. Little did he know that the answers to his questions lay not only in the materials he sought for escape, but also in the depths of his own soul, waiting to be uncovered like hidden treasures beneath the surface of the island sands. As the days on the island turned into a week and a half, Mike's determination to escape remained unwavering. With resourcefulness and resilience, he managed to repair the weathered boat that had washed ashore. The island, once a place of solitude and mystery, became a temporary haven as he gathered provisions for the journey that awaited him beyond the horizon. Yet amidst the practical preparations, the dream continued to linger in the recesses of Mike's mind like an unsolved riddle. The image of his mother behind the waterfall, reaching out with an invitation both tender and mysterious, puzzled him. In the quiet moments as he sat on the sandy shores contemplating the vastness of the sea, the dream whispered its enigma, compelling him to seek answers. Mike decided he would explore the island one more time, this time in search of a waterfall that mirrored the one in his dreams. Perhaps, he thought, finding a similar cascade would unravel the mystery and offer clarity to the cryptic messages woven into his slumbering visions. After a day of exploration, he stumbled upon a majestic waterfall. The water cascaded gracefully, creating a soothing melody that resonated with the heartbeat of the island. Excitement mingled with apprehension as Mike approached, hoping that this waterfall held the key to understanding the dream that had become both companion and conundrum. To his bewilderment, there was no opening behind the waterfall. The rocks were solid, and the water curtain seemed impenetrable. Confusion etched across his face as he pondered the significance of this discovery. The dreams persisted, refusing to yield their secrets. As Mike stood before the waterfall, he realized that the island held layers of mystery far beyond the tangible challenges of survival. The elusive answers he sought seemed to dance on the edges of his perception, just beyond reach. With a boat ready for the open sea and provisions secured for the journey, he faced a choice: continue the pursuit of escape, or delve deeper into the enigma of the island, where dreams and reality intertwined like the waves kissing the shore. Disappointment hung in the air as Mike turned away from the waterfall, resigning himself to the notion that perhaps some mysteries were not meant to be unraveled. With a heavy heart, he retraced his steps, ready to focus once more on the practicalities of leaving the island behind. However, fate had a whimsical twist in store for him. As he walked along the sandy shore, a glint of glass caught his eye near a tree by the waterfall. Buried in the sand was a bottle, its contents whispering promises of intrigue. Mike's curiosity piqued. He unearthed the bottle and discovered a tightly rolled paper within. Unfurling the paper revealed a map, and at its center was a conspicuous X, marking a specific spot on the island. Mike couldn't help but chuckle at the unexpected turn of events. The island seemed to be teasing him with a puzzle, and the map was its cryptic invitation. Despite his initial skepticism, Mike decided to entertain the whimsy of the map. Folding it carefully and tucking it into his pocket, he resumed his preparations for departure. Evening descended, and by the crackling fire he found himself drawn to the enigmatic map once more. As he studied the map, a realization dawned on him. The symbol near the X resembled a stream, and a particular landmark stood out, a giant tree lying on the ground. Intrigued, Mike resolved to investigate the area the next day, a 1-hour trek that led him to yet another waterfall. This cascade, however, unveiled a breathtaking beauty that surpassed all others. The rhythmic flow of water created a mesmerizing dance of liquid crystal. As Mike approached, he discerned the symbolism from his dream. The stream led to a cave behind the waterfall. Entering cautiously, Mike initially found nothing but rocky walls. However, as his eyes adjusted to the dim light, he discovered a cleverly concealed rock formation. Within this hidden alcove lay a weathered chest, a silent witness to the passage of time. Hesitant fingers unlatched the chest, revealing a trove of gleaming gold bars. The discovery left Mike in awe, bridging the gap between the tangible and the mystical. In that moment, he realized that the island held secrets not only of hardship, but also of unexpected bounty. The journey, it seemed, had transformed from a mere quest for survival into an odyssey of revelations, where dreams and reality coalesced in the most unforeseen ways. In the hushed sanctuary of the cave, as the golden bars reflected the subdued light, Mike pondered the purpose behind the tumultuous journey that had brought him to this moment. The realization dawned upon him like a gentle sunrise. The hardships, the betrayal, the storm, all were threads intricately woven into the tapestry of his destiny. Taking the chest in his hands, Mike felt the weight of both gold and gratitude. In a spontaneous gesture, he closed his eyes and offered a prayer of thanks for the revelation, for the resilience forged in trials, and for the unexpected blessings that lay before him. The cave, once echoing with the laments of despair, now bore witness to a moment of communion between a man and the divine. With the treasure in tow, Mike retraced his steps, guided not only by the physical map, but by a newfound spiritual compass. As he sailed away from the island that had been both his crucible and sanctuary, he carried with him not just gold, but a transformed perspective on life's tumultuous journey. Returning to Elmsworth, Mike chose a path of devotion and service. The golden bars, symbolic of his resilience, became the foundation for a better life for the villagers. The once ordinary farmer emerged as a pillar of strength, channeling the grace he had found in the depths of despair to uplift those around him. Mike's story became a legend in Elmsworth, a tale of a man who weathered the storms of life, discovered treasures hidden in the most unexpected places, and in gratitude, dedicated his existence to the service of others. The village, once marked by loss and desolation, blossomed under his benevolence. As the years unfolded, Mike's journey became a beacon of hope, a testament to the transformative power of faith and perseverance. In the quiet moments of reflection, he marveled at the twists and turns that had brought him from the ruins of Elmsworth to a life devoted to embracing God's grace. And so, Mike's story found its conclusion not in the amassing of wealth, but in the richness of a life well lived, a life marked by resilience, gratitude, and an unwavering faith that, even in the darkest storms, there existed a divine plan, weaving beauty into the fabric of every trial. As we conclude this musical voyage, we reflect on the profound themes of faith, surrender, and the unknown that Oceans encapsulates. It's not merely a song, but an experience, a lifeboat for those navigating the tumultuous seas of hardship. The chorus becomes a mantra, urging us to surrender our worries to the divine, while the bridge reinforces the importance of continual reliance on faith. So, whether you're weathering your own storms or sailing through calmer seas, may the currents of oceans, where feet may fail, remind you that, no matter how deep the waters, divine grace remains an anchor. Thank you for joining me on this exploration, and until the next episode, may your journey be accompanied by the timeless melodies and enduring truths found in the vast ocean of music. Thank you to Michael Guy Chislett, Matt Crocker, Joel Houston, and Salomon Lythelm, Taya, and everyone at Hillsong United for this beautiful piece of music. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. God bless you all and have an impactful day.